Hello, my name is Eddie Tofpik. I'm Head of Technical Analysis and Senior Markets Analyst at ADM Investor Services International Limited. And here is your weekly technical analysis of New York and London coffee markets.
The start of the move higher in this market was generated by the large bright red April to late October 2024 ascending wedge pattern. This pattern had been biding its time since late spring until 19 weeks ago when we saw a significant false break higher, which only resulted in a small double top over September, an Adam and Eve type. That ended up being part of another recent pattern, not so well defined but still there, a mid-August to late October 2024 head and shoulders pattern, with the previously mentioned double top being the split head of the head and shoulders pattern. Between 16 to 13 weeks ago, the market breached the neckline, currently at 268.55, on the downside of this pattern, but the aspect of this pattern had changed, and instead of a head and shoulders top, it became 13 weeks ago a head and shoulders continuation pattern, running to the new highs, reaching both the primary and secondary targets for the bright red ascending wedge pattern. On top of all that, a further target topside, one I hadn't really discussed because it was so far away, but a final target topside up in the 333.55 area before prices pulled back a bit. Now that initial big rally nevertheless left one jarring feature which I spoke about 8 weeks ago. That November was a monthly key reversal up, a highly unusual pattern to see at the top of a market. I said 9 weeks ago, and I quote, "Going to think about the implications of such an odd combination, a monthly key reversal up but right at the top of the market. I'm going to think about that for a while," end of quote. Well, my thoughts were put aside for a bit as prices travelled in between the late November 2024 high at 335.45 and the May 2011 high at 309.10 below. Then in mid-January, prices took a fresh flight higher, pushing and closing over the early December 2024 high at 348.35 and into a new territory over the 50% projected Fibonacci line at 358.15 and testing today the 100% projected Fibonacci line up at 380.85. There are two features I'd like to highlight on this daily chart. The first is the obvious dark blue highlighted December 24 based bullish shift pitch walk, specifically as prices are approaching the upper time currently at 383.15. This upper time is untested, but the lower time, currently at 329.85, was tested back in late December 2024 and January this year, and held up pretty well. So I'd give this the benefit of the doubt somewhat and watch it carefully. The other feature is a big picture item, and it's to regard the action since the start of November 2024 today as a possible bullish halfway hesitation. If that turns out to be the case, then we might see the current move up reach up as far as a potential target X in the 415.85 area, way up off the top of my daily chart. This is a possible scenario, and even I think it's quite an extreme one, but I would be remiss not to mention it to you, and I'll be watching this all with great interest. Early in 2024, a late April to early September, quite large ascending wedge pattern emerged. The lower uptrend had been reinforced and also helped in reinforcing the medium moving average, currently at 51.04. This despite two significant breaks higher and another one lower, outside the ascending wedge pattern. These disrupted the pattern so much that I threatened to downgrade the pattern. In the end, I did not. What replaced this pattern is something I drew 9 weeks ago. A newer and larger pattern that encompasses all the significant recent elements. Now it is not ideal and it's quite large, but it does show promise, and it is the bright red, shallower, larger bull channel, currently at 45.25 to 58.57. This latest attempt high has started from the monthly key reversal up right at the top of the market made in November last year. I commented on this 9 weeks ago when I said, and I quote, "I'm going to think about the implications of such an odd combination. A monthly key reversal up, but right at the top of the market. I'm going to think about that for a while," end of quote. There are also some more thoughts to consider. There was the dramatic drop in early December 2024, leading to an island pattern, if only just at the very recent low, and the subsequent recovery back up afterwards. All this led to the creation of another pattern, An early November, early December bullish Andrews pitchfork that was since finessed into a shallower bullish shift pitchfork for the same move, and that's highlighted in dark blue on my daily chart. Right now prices are just underneath the middle tine, currently at 56.49. This shallower bullish shift pitchfork is showing the bullish angle of attack of this market, and the support seen from the lower tine of this bullish shift pitchfork, currently at 5040, seen in mid-January, does add some legitimacy to this pattern. The only issue is that the dark blue middle tine crosses over the bright red upper bull channel line at the start of March, and that is something to watch out for, especially the activity around there.
Thank you for listening and watching this broadcast. This weekly broadcast gives the essential market patterns and consequences. Please be aware of the risk disclaimer posted both at the front and at the back of this broadcast. The copyright is Eddie Tofpik and ADM Investor Services International Limited. And here comes the final important bit.